From number 1. Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man. Height 112 feet starting us off. Soft, squishy, and somehow terrifying. It's the Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters. At 112 feet tall, Stay Puft stands roughly as high as a 10-story building. For reference, that's about the same height as the Statue of Liberty from base to torch, minus the pedestal. He weighs somewhere in the neighborhood of 50,000 tons, which is comparable to a small naval destroyer. Made entirely of pure, processed marshmallow, he doesn't notice us so much as he just sort of steps on us. We're ants to him, but friendly ants, right up until we cross him. His sound? A deep, rumbling giggle that echoes off buildings, equal parts unsettling and adorable. His legendary moment, the roof of the Shanley Building, New York City. Ray Stantz accidentally thought of him, and suddenly 112 feet of pure sugar came marching down Fifth Avenue. And the worst part? He was smiling the whole time. Next, Gypsy Danger, 260 feet of American-made steel and plasma. Gypsy Danger, the fan favorite Jaeger from Pacific Rim. She stands taller than a 25-story skyscraper. If you parked her next to the Statue of Liberty, she'd be looking down at it. Weighing in at roughly 1,980 tons of hardened steel, titanium, and experimental polymer, she's built like a tank the size of a neighborhood. Gypsy doesn't walk, she stomps. Every footfall is a minor seismic event. She moves with the weight of a machine that knows what it was built for, punching things exponentially larger than itself. She's powered by a nuclear vortex turbine, which means she literally radiates heat just by existing. Get too close and you're not just being crushed, you're being irradiated. She notices us the way a pilot notices a cockpit instrument. We're the data. The humans inside are her brain. Without them, she's just a very expensive, very large paperweight. Her sound is the grinding thunder of millions of metal components moving in synchronized violence. Every step a low-frequency boom that you feel in your chest before you hear it. Her legendary moment, dragging a kaiju through the streets of Hong Kong by its tail, then using said kaiju as a club to beat another kaiju. That's not a fight. That's poetry. Next, Evangelion Unit 201, height 262 feet, just barely taller than Gypsy, but infinitely more terrifying. It's Evangelion Unit 01. At 262 feet, she's almost identical in height to Gypsy Danger, but the similarities end there. Because Unit 01 isn't a robot, she's a biomechanical titan, essentially a god of destruction wearing a purple cage of armor. Her mass is classified in the lore, but estimates place her into millions of metric tons when her AT field is active. That's not weight, that's metaphysical presence. She moves with something between mechanical precision and raw animal fury. How does she notice us? She doesn't until Shinji's emotions spike high enough to trigger her awakening. Her legendary moment, going berserk in episode 19, tearing apart the Angel Zero with her teeth and bare hands while screaming with a voice that doesn't belong to any 14-year-old boy. That moment redefined what an anime could be. Next, Rod Reiss. Now we're getting serious. Rod Reiss, the true king of the Titans in Attack on Titan, crawls in at a staggering 39.4 feet. Notice I said crawls, because Rod Reiss is so impossibly massive that he cannot even stand up properly. He's the largest pure Titan ever recorded, and his body generates heat so intense that the ground beneath him literally bakes and chars as he passes. His mass is estimated at several 100,000 tons, but because of his size to muscle ratio, he can't support his own weight vertically. He drags himself forward, mouth scraping the ground, tongue dangling like a grotesque carpet. He doesn't notice human, not even a little. His sound, a constant labored dragging, the sound of something too big to exist pulling itself forward anyway, accompanied by the crackling of superheated steam rising from his skin. His legendary moment, the siege of Orvue District. An entire military scrambles against him and barely makes a dent. He has to be destroyed from the inside. Next, it's King Ghidorah, or as Toho officially lists him, the Golden Demise. At 459 feet tall, Ghidorah towers over nearly everything that came before him on this list. His wingspan is nearly 1,500 feet. Imagine a flying creature that casts a shadow the size of a small town. He weighs over 141,000 tons of golden scales, regenerating tissue, and pure malice. He can fly at hurricane speed, generating Category 6 storm conditions just by hovering. He moves like a force of nature, because he is one. His flight creates tornadoes. His gravity beams vaporize military hardware. His 3 heads operate semi-independently, which means he can attack 3 different targets simultaneously while the rest of him does something else. He notices us the way a thunderstorm notices a newspaper. We're scenery. Occasionally we're targets, but only because we got in the way. His sound, a legendary 3-tone shriek, a cascading, almost musical wail that has been haunting cinema speakers since 1964. When all 3 heads scream together, it sounds like the planet itself cracking in half. His legendary moment, emerging from a mountain in Antarctica, frozen for centuries, then immediately starting to terraform the entire planet's biosphere to suit his preferences. He didn't attack Earth. He tried to renovate it. Next, Vagard wingspan 429 feet. Our only entry without a traditional height, because Vhagar doesn't walk, she flies. The oldest, largest, and most powerful living dragon in the world of House the Dragon. Badr's wingspan stretches 429 feet, roughly the length of the Empire State Building on its side. She's been alive for nearly 200 years by the events of the show, and every one of those years is written into her scarred, ancient hide. Her mass is estimated at tens of thousands of tons of living bone and scale. She moves with the slow, inevitable patience of something that has never, in 2 centuries, encountered a threat it couldn't reduce to ash. Her flight is labored but unstoppable, like watching a mountain become airborne. She notices us the way an ancient predator notices prey, only when it's directly relevant. And if she notices you specifically, that means you have approximately 4 seconds to make peace with your choices. Her sound, a roar that isn't quite a roar, it's a wave of pressurized air and heat that hits you before the sound does. It's been described in the books as a sound that silences everything else on the battlefield. Her legendary moment, the Battle of the Gullet. Vhagar versus younger, faster dragons. She won. She always wins. Next, Godzilla Lear's term height, 984 feet. Not the Godzilla you know. Not even the 350-foot Hollywood version. This is Godzilla Earth, the version from the Godzilla anime trilogy, and she stands nearly 1,000 feet tall. At 984 feet, Godzilla Earth is almost double the height of the Empire State Building. Her mass is an almost incomprehensible 100,000 metric tons, and that's before accounting for the fact that over 20,000 years, she has essentially merged with the planet's ecosystem. The flora around her are extensions of her nervous system. She doesn't just live on her, she became her. She moves slowly, because at this scale, slowly is still catastrophic. Each step reshapes geography. Her dorsal fins generate electromagnetic fields that can destroy aircraft without her doing anything at all. She doesn't fight, she exists, and existence at her scale is violence. How does she notice us? She has electromagnetic sensory organs across her entire body. Her legendary moment, being frozen for 20,000 years, thawing out, and now we leave the physical world and enter the cosmic. Galactus, the devourer of worlds. At his base, he stands about 1,000 feet, but that number is almost meaningless because Galactus's true size is whatever size he needs to be. He appears to each species at a scale their minds can comprehend. To humans, 1,000 feet. To cosmic beings, incalculably larger. His mass is literally immeasurable. He consumes the fundamental life energy of worlds to sustain his own existence. He moves through space without a ship. He is aware of us the way you're aware of individual cells in your body. His sound in the comics, his voice manifests directly in your mind. His legendary moment, every first encounter. Planets learn of him only when his heralds arrive, then he comes, and he eats. Next, Arishem, height, 1,056,000 feet, that's 200 miles tall. We have officially broken the scale. Arishem is not a character with a height. Arishem is a height. The Celestial Prime, seen in Marvel's Eternals, stands 200 miles tall. He is taller than most of Earth's atmosphere. If you put him on the surface of the Earth, his head would be in outer space, literally. His mass would be measurable in planetary unit. He is composed of an unknown cosmic metallic material that defies conventional physics. He moves through the universe at will, traveling between star systems without spacecraft. His footstep upon a planet is a geological event. He literally judged civilization, standing in orbit and choosing whether entire species lived or died based on their development. He notices planets, not species, not individuals, planets. We are not even at the level of ant. To him, we're more like quarks. His sound in Eternals, when he appears in orbit, there is first silent, then a low harmonic vibration that resonates at a frequency the entire planet feels simultaneous. His legendary moment, the closing scene of Eternals, emerging from the ocean, planet size backlit by the sun, grabbing the Eternals like their action figures. Cinema has rarely made a human feel so small. Next, Ego, the living planet size, 41,800,000 feet. That's nearly 8,000 miles across. Ego is not a character who lives on a planet. Ego, E, is a planet. A living, conscious, ancient, deeply narcissistic planet. At nearly 8,000 miles in diameter, Ego is comparable in size to the Earth itself. His mass is, for all practical purposes, planetary. He is made of living matter, rock, soil, and blue biomass, all of which is an extension of his consciousness. He can reshape his surface, extend tendrils of himself across the galaxy, create humanoid avatars, terraform other worlds. He doesn't move in the traditional sense, he extends. He sends pieces of himself outward. He colonized other planets slowly and secretly, planting seeds of his biomass like a gardener planting a garden. Except the garden is the galaxy, and the gardening is the galaxy, and the gardening is annexation. He notices individuals the way you notice a thought when it's relevant. His son Peter Quill got his attention because Peter carried his power. His legendary moment, the reveal, a friendly, handsome man. Then the camera pulls back, and you realize the whole planet was him, and he's been here the entire time. Next, Unicron, planet form. Size 41,700,000 feet, roughly 7,900 miles. Almost identical in scale to Ego. But where Ego is a narcissist, Unicron is an apocalypse. Unicron from Transformers is a planet-sized machine of pure destruction. Nearly 7,900 miles across, comparable to Earth's diameter. He is the embodiment of chaos and consumption in Transformers lore. A dark god who devours planets the way we eat lunch. His mass is that of a terrestrial planet. He has a mechanical core, a planetary crust of dark metal, and enough firepower built into his shell to glass a civilization. He transformed. That's right. He's not just a planet. He's a planet that can reconfigure himself into a giant robot. When he does, he becomes arguably the most massive bipedal entity on this list. He moves through space under his own power, consuming energy from stars. He does not notice us. We are not even the prey. We are the packaging that the prey comes in. His sound is the stuff of 1986 childhood nightmares. A voice provided by Orson Welles in the original film, so deep, so resonant, so final that it doesn't sound like a character speaking. It sounds like the universe sighing before it gives up. His legendary moment, the 1986 Transformers movie. He ate Cybertron's moons as a snack. Then he bit a chunk out of Cybertron itself. He's been the gold standard of animated villainy ever since. Next, Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann. Height, 173,000 feet. That is 52 million light-years tall. We have left physics behind. We are now in the territory of pure, weaponized imagination. Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann. The final mecha form from the anime Gurren Lagann is 52 million light-years tall. To put that in perspective, the observable universe is about 93 billion light-years across. STTGL is not quite universe-sized, but it is galaxy cluster-sized. It dwarfs supercluster. Its drill attacks are made of pure spiral energy, a metaphysical force that the show equates with evolution and willpower itself. It doesn't move through space, it moves through narrative. Physics literally does not apply. It fights in a dimension where the weapons are concepts and the battlefield is existence itself. How does it notice us? It doesn't. We are the metaphor it was born from. We are what inspired it. We're the belief. Its sound, an orchestral swell that hits like a freight train made of brass instruments and human determination. The anime's soundtrack at maximum volume doesn't describe STTGL. It is STTGL. Its legendary moment, fighting the anti-spiral at the edge of the universe, throwing a galaxy like a shuriken, using the Big Bang as a finishing move. That sentence is real. It happened in this anime. It is canon. Next, Super Shenron, 1,290,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000, 15. That is approximately 420 billion light-years long. And the end of scale itself. Super Shenron, the Super Dragon from Dragon Ball Super, is summoned by the Super Dragon Balls, which are themselves the size of planets. At 420 billion light-years in length, Super Shenron is larger than the observable universe. He wraps around multiple universes simultaneously in the show's visual presentation. He is not in our universe. Our universe is in him. His mass is not a calculable figure. He is made of pure wish-granting cosmic energy. He exists across multiple planes of reality at once, serving as a literal divine force within the Dragon Ball multiverse. He can grant any wish with no stated limits, including resurrection, reality alteration, and the destruction or restoration of entire universes. How does he notice us? He doesn't. Not until the Super Dragon Balls are gathered. Then he opens one eye, an eye that is itself the size of a galaxy, and waits for the wish. You are not even a photon to him. His sound, complete silence before he speaks. Then a voice that doesn't come from anywhere in particular. It comes from everywhere at once. It fills the void between universes. It is the sound of something so large that sound itself is a metaphor for its communication. His legendary moment, being summoned for the first time in the Tournament of Destroyers arc. The camera just keeps pulling back, and back, and back. The universe doesn't contain him. He contains the universe. So there it is. From a marshmallow man who leveled a few city blocks, to a dragon who wraps around the observable universe and grants wishes with a yawn. What this list really shows us is the limitless ambition of human imagination. Our obsession with scale, with power, with the question, what would something look like if it was just more? And every time we answer that question, we push the answer further. Stay Puft was the beginning. Super Shenron is the answer for now. But someone, somewhere, is already drawing something bigger. What you all think? Comment below and subscribe for more. Watch my other videos.